Hello, these are the people in my presentation today. Thank you for being here. Okay, my name is Vania Romero and thank you for joining me. So imagine this. You're in a classroom and you're listening to a lecture when all of a sudden one of your classmates collapses. Everybody thinks that they might have fainted, but as soon as more minutes pass by, panic starts happening. The teacher immediately calls 911, but unfortunately nobody else knows what to do next. Without CPR, the likelihood of survival decreases. Today, I want to persuade you to take a CPR class and also encourage your community to provide more accessible CPR training. To better understand this, today I'll discuss first how immediate CPR can save lives. We'll discuss why people are not prepared during emergency situations. And finally, we'll talk about how community can make it more accessible for CPR training. So first, why is it important to understand why a few minutes are crucial during emergency situations? According to Medline Plus, brain damage occurs only 4 to 6 minutes after cardiac arrest. The reason being because the oxygen and blood is not flowing to the brain without proper CPR. So that means that a lot of brain cells can die, causing that brain damage. So waiting for a paramedic to arrive cannot suffice in helping that person survive. Also, American Heart Association says that CPR is crucial because it can double or triple the survival rate. And the reason why it's so important is because 90% of cardiac arrests that happen outside of the hospital actually result in death. So the first few minutes are very important between life and death. But even though CPR can save lives, a lot of people are unprepared in these situations. So according to Straight Heart, 70% of bypassers reported being hopeless or feeling hopeless when a cardiac arrest occurs. The reason why is because a lot of people are not trained to perform CPR, or they also feel fear of harming the person that they're performing CPR for. A lot of people also might feel hopeless or might feel fear when something is happening that's unpredictable. For example, me as a CNA, I did experience a code blue, which is a cardiac arrest for one of my patients. And at the moment, I felt so scared. I felt like I couldn't move. But because I remembered my CPR training, I was able to help. So this really shows CPR training doesn't help just with fear, but it helps you to take action. Another reason is because of legal consequences. People assume that if they help someone, they might face legal consequences. However, we have a law in place called the Good Samaritan Law here in the United States, which protects people from that kind of thing. So National Institute of Health says that it protects the individual that provides emergency services in good faith. So this is to say that if you were to ever help someone that's experienced a cardiac arrest, you will not face any legal consequences. But unfortunately, many communities lack the accessibility of CPR. This leads a lot of adults to be unprepared. So because many people are unprepared, I think communities should provide more accessible CPR. As we know, a lot of healthcare providers are required to have CPR training. But I want to offer that a lot of people in our community should be CPR trained, because a lot of ordinary people are the first people that are there during an emergency situation before the paramedics arrive. So according to American Heart Association, the location of a heart attack, it occurs 73% outside of a hospital, which means a cardiac arrest can happen at home, in a workplace, anywhere, more often than in a hospital. So communities can help with this number on helping people survive this incidents by providing more accessible or low-cost CPR training. Colleges, workplaces, or community centers can offer this, and it can help people become more prepared. By increasing this accessibility to people in workplaces, colleges, at home are more prepared, and they feel more confident to apply CPR. So imagine if more people in our community were certified. A student collapses in class, but instead of panicking, someone is able to perform CPR and a person is able to call paramedics. When Paramedics arrive, that person is still alive. But now imagine the opposite. Imagine standing hopeless as one of your loved one is unresponsive and you're unable to do anything, and nobody around you knows what to do. This is a moment that can be life or death for people, especially even your loved ones. So let me emphasize this, that medical emergencies do not only happen in the hospital. They can happen at workplaces, they can happen in your community, or even at your dinner table. So in conclusion, medical emergencies can happen anywhere and to anyone. So today we discussed why immediate CPR can save lives. We talked about why many people are unprepared during emergency, and also we talked about how communities can better create opportunities for people to take CPR classes. CPR training does not take away the fear, but it helps you to not feel hopeless. Someone needing help could be your coworker, it could be a student, or it could even be a loved one. So I encourage everyone here to take a CPR class, and also make sure that your communities provide accessible CPR training. Whether with greater access to CPR training, it can actually help our communities and also save more lives. Thank you.